Hi guys. Okay, I've been experimenting with my gel medium gelatos. Anyway, these are some different things. This is a canvas I did for my word of the month purpose. So looking for a purpose, not just in life in general, but you know, a purpose for things in the studio. I'm a big believer that everything should have a place, and you know, everything should have some kind of purpose, even if it's just to make you smile. That's okay too. But looking for a purpose for all of the junk drawers that I have in my studio, I want to figure out a way to have everything have a purposeful position in the studio so I don't have all these junk drawers. So that's my main goal for February. But this is just a little canvas. It had little staples on the edges, which I didn't want to see, so I just put some hot glue on there and the ribbon. This is a wood chip, or a wood letter, rather. This is one of the Tim Holtz letter word pieces. I just drew, I fussy cut the butterflies, but I don't like fussy cutting around the antennae. So I just cut them off and then I draw my own, just in some marker. At first I used my Micron Forever in Time pens. It doesn't work 100% on top of the gelatos or the gel medium. So I used my alcohol ink marker eventually. That worked actually pretty good, so I'm happy about that. So regardless of that, so I just wanted to show you, sometimes my stamps don't work out 100% for whatever reason. So let's see. I've been testing quite a bit. See, it's just, yeah, it's a bit of a mess. But testing my stamps. So this is the stamp that I worked with. Not always do they turn out when you put them onto your paper. It depends on the type of ink you use. So let's see if I can find my ink. Oops. So the question is, do you have to throw things out? How can you recycle it? And can you still salvage it? I believe you can. Not always does it show up 100%. So let's say I do this one. I forgot to re-ink it, so it's quite light. You can go over it. You can salvage it. So let's say you want to do 2 cards, but you don't have any more paper. So we're going to fix it and salvage it. So here you can stamp over the backgrounds of these. Obviously, they work very much like watercolors because they are water soluble, which is kind of nice. And I can still reuse this paper because I can go over top of this with the same medium as I'm about to show you. So you just put some onto the paper. Oops, throw my paintbrush around. I've been testing quite a bit of this, just sort of, you know, seeing how it works and how it reacts on a canvas like this one here. It acts more like a watery acrylic kind of paint because you apply it straight from the tube. You scribble it all over the canvas from the tube, and then you activate it with water. Now, I recommend like a mop water brush kind of thing, not a thin one like this one. This is more for on paper, but this for the canvas is perfect because it holds a lot of water, and you can get the striations on here. You can get the paint running if you just run it right along the edge and just let it run and do its thing, and then it'll dry nicely because all the colors will just sort of run through each other. You have to be careful so it doesn't turn muddy, but you know, experiment with it a little bit. That's half the fun. Again, you know, I'm just going over top. I'm not going to worry too much about the background. I don't like to fussy cut really, so it's not my favorite thing. It never has been. It probably never will be. So, I don't know. how to, I know how to fussy cut, that's not the issue. I just don't have the patience for it. I didn't like it in kindergarten, I don't like it now. Okay. As you can see, I've been experimenting quite a bit with lots of different colors and just trying to, you know, the beauty of these is you can mix these too. So you can take a little bit of the lighter and a little bit of the darker. You can just sort of come up with something else. I'm just going right over top of the purple because you can layer these. See how you can just create a different color with it. It's actually quite nice. You can just be messy with it. And if you're going to do lots of layers, not having too much paint or too much water on your brush is probably the key. And then the background, I want to do this tealy color because I get the feeling going over that purple might take a little bit of more. So I'm just going to create, see how the purple and the teal will sort of blend in together. And then I'll just be a different kind of color in the background, which is quite nice. Depending what you have in the back, of course. If it's just a muddy brown, it might not be your favorite color. But you can go over top of them quite simply. And it just adds a little bit of interest in the background. But for the most part, it'll be like an aqua color, or sky blue. You can do whatever color you want. You can do yellow to match your card. The idea is to not have to fussy cut since it's not my favorite thing to do. So as you can see, you know, you just sort of fill in the little areas. I'll let that dry, but I'm going to cut this onto my cutter. I'm going to find my spot. And then if you find you need more color in the back, you can add more. You can do the background first and then stamp over top of it if that's what you choose to do. Same as watercolors. As you can see, it looks quite interesting. So I am going to take my micron pen and I'm going to just, so let's say this didn't come out too well, I'm just going to sketch a little bit more. Because sometimes stamps, they just do the basics, right? Which is fine for stamping. But if it doesn't work out the way you expect, and you want a more, you know, hand-drawn kind of look, you can just go over top of it. That's kind of the beauty of these micron pens. Some are a bit thicker than others, some are thinner. But this way it looks more of a handmade piece. I mean, I think stamping is very convenient, but stamping is not always my favorite medium. Fussy cut is definitely not my favorite thing to do, but this way you can just sort of fudge it a little bit, especially if it doesn't stamp properly. So it looks a bit more, you know, painterly. Again, the other one I just did some edging around the edge. Just for some added hand-drawn touches. I usually go over it a couple of times just to give it that little something something. And that on a card, like the other one, would look quite nice. So this one I did do the edging. This one I did in black. So let's see if we can do another color for that one. Let's use my favorite, teal. Since there's quite a bit of teal in here too in the background, so just take it. The beauty of these, they have those nice big flat edges, which is very easy to just sort of run along the edge. So, and if you don't see enough of it, you can always go on an angle this way. And that makes a bit more of a bold statement. But see, that's how you can sort of make it a little bit different for each one. And it's a stamp, but each one turns out a little bit differently because of your sketching and loose lines. So, and it's a good way to practice drawing too, actually. And it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, from this, you know, again, the background, very simple, scribble and use a mop brush. Experiment, see what you come up with. To this, where you can salvage a stamp that doesn't always work out the way you expect it to, you know, or if it's your favorite stamp and you want to make it look different, more of a sketch, you're fooling the eye into thinking it's more of a sketch than it is a stamp. So, and it gives it more of a hand-drawn look to it, which is what I enjoy. So a stamp that would be quite light like this, you know, let's say your ink is running out or it's your stamp off or whatever, and you do it on a watercolor background, you know, some scrap piece of paper, you can do it very easily this way, and it's a lot of fun and it looks more hand-drawn. So yeah, like I said, you know, you can layer these, you can go over top again, you can do a metallic wash over top of this, like I did the other one. Here's a pink one. So if you wanted to make it more, you know, shiny, you can totally do that. It has like a little, I don't know, it's not glitter per se, but if you want to make it darker, you can still go over it again, because these micron pens are waterproof. So, and then you can see that shininess. I don't know if the light's picking that up. It's a little bit different, you know. So yeah, play with it. Have some fun with it, actually. I'm probably going to do some more projects like these ones. These would be great for Easter cards, spring cards. And that's my word for the month. Looking for a purpose. It'll be interesting, let's put it that way. Even though the studio looks nice and neat and clean, a purpose for everything is not always the case. Sometimes I just stuff things in a drawer and I call it a day. You know, the Monica closet. All right, I hope you enjoyed, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.